37-map win streak right now in professional StarCraft 2 since he won Game 5 against Raynor at the eSports World Cup. Does that continue here, or does that end here? We have ShoWTimE and Clem entering the battlefield on Ghost River to open up with as well. Definitely a funky map to start us off. So that's also a fun little question mark of, does this map kind of encourage something a little hectic or crazy or so? So that'll be something of a possibility that you look at this and say, it's not quite what we're usually looking to play. Yeah, I like this for Clem to start with. Let's see how it goes as we get into game number 1. This could have also been Liquid picking Clem because the map is very good just in case it was Raynor as well. I said I'd stop theorizing, but maybe that is part of the logic there. Alright. Alright, let's go into this. Kick off into our games. Gateway in the racks, the gate gas coming up, and get ourselves this action started. Obviously, the sponsors here, beautiful stuff, keeping the world team alive. One of the best events to keep alive in StarCraft 2. This team competition has brought so much to SC2 over the last few years. It's amazing to see it continuing to come through season after season. We are only... all we can do is hope that we get another season of it, because WTL really is something... not just incredible for us to watch, but it's just incredible to have the teams all supporting something. I know obviously there's eSports World Cup that encourages teams now, but then, you know... this provides just something even on top of that, right? Something else that... and then the teams are really represented. There really is a point of having multiple plays or team-ups and stuff as well. Very exciting. Alright, we get ourselves set up. Next is going down on the natural. Adept is going to be chrono boosting out. Take our first few moments here of unit production. Clem getting that factory up before he expands, so just going to put that factory into place, and the expansion will come down. So just going to be a little bit on the safer side, because it obviously allows you to get your tech units up first, so it's very difficult to die while doing this, because you're going to have more units out, and it allows you to apply more pressure. On a smaller map like Ghost River, there's definitely a pretty big net positive to being able to get across the map and apply pressure early, and put your opponent into some difficult positions, so that's definitely going to be one of the factors of this as well. Adept just patrolling around on the natural. Reaper coming up, robot facility on the way, battery coming up as well. All of that coming through. As the Stalker still patrolling on the edge of the main base as well. Reaper wants to perhaps jump up over there. It's thinking about it. Here we go. Stalker's going to fire back. Taking some damage. SCT2, thank you for the gifted sub to Marine Lord. RCC comes into play, so that's going to be the natural up. Clem will have the Widow Mine drop in a few moments as well to move across the map with. Again, ShoWTimE has played some... I mean, you think of his performance against Gumiho at Home Story Cup was very good until Gumiho just started to play... until ShoWTimE almost got too aggressive into Gumiho, which was an interesting thing to be saying, but... for the most part, ShoWTimE has just been, again, very good in this PvT. He was very unfortunate not to take out Gumiho in eSports World Cup, at least take that first map. I actually think ShoWTimE could have gone on a bit of a run there. As the Reaper gets in, scouting information, it's going to be Marines and the mine dropping into the back of the natural. So this combined attack looking for hits, looking for damage. And just going to force the probes to pull away. Widow Mine is still there, but there's an observer out, so it can be seen. As the Hellion wants to get a couple of probes there, and actually just going to drop these Marines into the main, but the Stalker's there too. The Widow Mine did go off. 3 probes have died to this so far. So yeah, 3 workers dropping up until this stage. Widow Mine gets picked away at. Clean that out. High Council and the Raven all still continuing up. A couple more probes on the way, so ShoWTimE showing us the next step of this. So Robo first keeps you very safe because you get an early access to an Observer. If you need it, you have early access to an Immortal as well. Obviously, that's not really needed in this situation, but it is one more thing to be thinking of. There's Medevac alive, and Clem just being the annoyance that he usually is. dropping down here with the units, and, well, I'm actually going to go straight into the Temple Archives. So charge and Temple Archives. Archon's going to be available. Fast Storm available too. One of the things that has been a little bit of the bane of Terran players lately, and Clem has succumbed to that a few times over in the recent months. But that obviously is something which we think he's improved against as well, because if he didn't, he wouldn't be seeing so much success in the matchup. Temple Archives just going to finish up there on the natural, and that's going to be Storm starting immediately. And Clem in a good position to keep scouting that and to keep on top of what his opponent is doing. That medevac really is providing more than just the threat of an attack. It's a big plus as well as our Marines move over. They're going to grab that Observer, so that's going to be a nice kill. Take that pick off 100% of the time. It's actually really annoying as well, because it's just going to keep a couple of units there from ShoWTimE. You just want to let that medevac get back in for free or anything, right? So, yeah, just going to be very annoying with that for a couple moments. And, yeah, just keeps a couple of units back. So, yeah, it's just nice for Clem. He's bringing an army across the map. High Templars in this prism looking for the Storm drop. That does not help you play defense at home, though. So, Storm drop might be good here, and SCVs will go down. 9 workers go down. However, like I say, that doesn't help you play defense at home. There's 1 Storm available currently, I believe. Raven should get spellcast off quickly. Anti-armor missile and interference matrix before it gets feedbacked. I'm surprised Clem didn't do much already. We actually warp in with the prism. Clem did drop all the turrets down, eats 1 storm, and the tanks survive. And that 1 tank in the front low, but not dead. Super battery now popping up. Couple Widow Mines to support Clem here, but I think this is a disaster for him. 20 SCVs going down. ShoWTimE has done some serious work. That storm defensively really did slow Clem down a little bit. These tanks don't know what to target fire, and Clem is in a ton of trouble with damage taken back at home. And this is ShoWTimE stepping it up here for Basilisk. The recruit here for Basilisk this season may be the one to put them into a great position. Obviously, knocking Clem down is the one thing we've been talking about all weekend. No one has managed it in 20 maps or so. 27 maps was it coming into this that he's on a win streak of. And now Clem is in trouble. That much is for certain. So Clem in a bad position. ShoWTimE setting up on 3 bases. He's got Storm to his name. Clem is only just now morphing his 3rd into an orbital. And ShoWTimE, a couple of High Templars morph into an Archon. A couple of Zealots warp in. So that attack on the natural does a lot. And then the Storm is good defensively as well. Clem just sneak in here to find 3 workers. But he is fighting an uphill battle. And he has got to find his way back into this game now. And again, someone like ShoWTimE, who usually is so good defensively and so good at making sure that, you know, plays are not going to be made to get you back in the game, well, that's going to stack the odds even further against Clem and getting back. So Clem, world champion of StarCraft 2, is up against the wall. Maybe for the first, I mean, we haven't really seen Clem in trouble, honestly, in the last 25 maps or something, right? He's looked comfortable, he's looked confident. Can that change here? This battery doesn't have too much energy on it, but it's enough to keep that Archon alive. A new Storm has to come down there as well. Couple Zealots running by at the same time, going to make it difficult for Clem to mine off of his 3rd base. Also a wonderful plus, because the less that Clem mines there, the less he's going to be able to afford to get back in the game with as the Bio Army comes through. It's going to drop straight on in. Storm coming about. And let's just have Storms going about here, there, and everywhere, hitting a whole bunch of stuff. Clem in the main, though, is going to just about be pushed back in the end. So he does get cleaned up at the very tail end of that. It actually felt like he might have been able to keep it going a little bit, but yeah, just enough units. As ShoWTimE shows up once again. Zealots on that 3rd base. Going to come through, get a few shots, get a few SCVs, find some further damage. Losses on the way up. Extended Thermal Lance still coming through. Army gathers back over that left-hand side. We figure out just where we want to go to, or what we want to do here is ShoWTimE plays defense. Clem supply is catching up a little bit, but it's still got a ways to go to be fully back on track. Widowmine going to go off. A couple of Zealots are going to get blasted. You're going to be seeing the bio coming across there. Those Zealots will still be chased away. +2 attack, +1 armor, extended thermal lance. All of it being brought up at the moment. Just bring everything up as we can here. Well, Prism comes around the top side. ShoWTimE going to try and dive in with that for a moment or two and see if there's something we may be able to grab from it. As the Prism is going to do a little bit. High Templar storming again. This time Clem pulls the SCVs. Prism low. If you lose 3 High Templar, I mean, that can't be a great thing if you lose 3 High Templar, right? So, I mean, that is a little dangerous, but we get the recall out. Auto turret's coming down. Clem's Raven's still alive. Actually getting to put some harassment in and getting a few probes as well. So, also just able to come through with that at the moment. Huge moment, in fact. Just getting a little bit more harassment damage done as ShoWTimE reaches towards being maxed out. Clem is doing everything possible. Look at that. There's a few more probes again. So yeah, that Raven is absolutely pulling its weight here. Great to see that it's able to do so well. Bio fighting, couple of Zealots taking shots. Will fire up. Widowmine going down. Bio army still gathering up as well. Still looking to see where it can go. EMP to kill off an observer. That's the attempt. As we do have the Widowmine get split from as well. So ShoWTimE still playing on top of everything around the map at the moment. Not letting anything really catch him off guard. Actually catching this army a little bit. Clem not really having much against the Colossus currently. So is running away in a little bit of panic. Going backwards here, having to go up his ramp. Can he find a defensive position? Can some of these Widowmines strike? He needs to get rid of some of these Zealots in the front, otherwise he's never really going to be able to get through onto the chunk of that army that he needs to be on. Prism has High Templars inside. More Ghost Gather up for Clem. Down. Not quite maxed out. He's once again harassing with the Raven and the Auto Turret. That's nice and all, but that's very inconsequential if this attack just never gets stopped and ShoWTimE pushes through to victory here and now. Again, the 2-2 upgrades continuing by. Now, +2 armor going to get chrono boosted, +3 attack chrono boosting as well. Bio gathering up. I see another storm drop. Man, the storm drops have been so consistent here from ShoWTimE. Something he's continued to rely on throughout. Zealots, Stalkers, the Immortal dropping down. We having this Protoss army back in the center. Both players are maxed out now, and that's going to be Clem finally getting to a point where it's like, okay, maybe I've done enough to kind of succumb the storm and to kind of reset myself here. Maybe there is some positive we can take from everything, and that is that Clem is perhaps back on track well enough. Guess we'll find out as we do see this Bioforce going to get pushed back a little bit straight away. There's already some damage coming out of that. And try and come back in once more. Disruptors firing up immediately. And the storms are good. I mean, that's one of the things that Clem continues to have to play against here pretty much non-stop. You just have to deal with those storms again and again and again. Army of ShoWTimE heads to the right-hand side. Zealots, Stalkers, Archons, EMP's coming down already. Clem pulls back. A lot of his units clumped up here. His Widowmines go off in a pretty big way. Holy goodness. A Disruptor shot or so coming through as well. More storms. ShoWTimE supply dropping though. This attack in is not going to do well enough, and ShoWTimE having to run backwards here. Disruptor shot doesn't quite land. Now we're going to see the Archon Morphin is going to be in trouble. There was going to be Dead High Templar anyways. Liberator sieging up. ShoWTimE will focus fire those down, but that's damage spent on those libs rather than anything else. Again, Clem is far enough away to dodge that Disruptor without losses. Okay, Clem is absolutely back in this. A ShoWTimE supply has plummeted here. Clem about to establish a 5th base too, something that we did not currently have set up for ourselves. Disruptors, Stalkers, High Templars, everything gathering. Just everything and a lot of things continuing through here for the moment. Stalkers, Archons, Mortal Disruptors continue to head towards the upper right-hand side. So we move up in that direction. The Lib's going to set up in the bottom right. Another CC is going to come down. Nice shot firing. As we're going to see that Disruptor shot. Going to be good for Marauder. Another Disruptor setting up. But the Libs are such a big issue, right? I mean, that's something which ShoWTimE has got to consider here as this game goes a bit further, right? Which is that the longer that this goes right now, his opponent is going to have libs, and libs are not something you can deal with the Gateway army. He is getting a +1 air weapon, so he is getting some amount of a response ready for this, but even if you have a response on the way, it's a long way to really being set up as SCVs and probes being traded out. Little bits of harass here and there continue through. Another Liberator sieging. Those Zealots are going to go after the Fusion Core, after the couple of depots. I'm still moving around the bottom right to see what else may be done. A couple of Liberators getting shot at. EMP going to land on the Stalkers. Disruptor doesn't land. It's actually going to go down now as it goes kind of the wrong way around the corner there. We also had an Observer that just fell during the scan that was in play. A little bit unfortunate because that was just bad luck more than anything else. Still got ShoWTimE trying to harass across the map. Blinking forwards here gets one of those Liberators. Again, they are the problem unit right now for ShoWTimE. They are the thing that is most likely going to continue to give him headaches in this game. The Liberators are so tough to deal with as he continues to reinforce Zealots and High Templar in the production lines. That is what we consistently see brought up for this. Libs are sieging. Army settling, Stargate coming around. Disruptor is going to find a Marauder. More libs sieging up. Obviously, defensive libs going to be good as well as ShoWTimE tries to push his way around that right-hand side. Ghosts, Liberators continue to take position. Storm comes through. Disruptor shot fires onto these rocks. Fire going to get to the bottom side. A couple of Zealots going down. There's a Fleet Beacon. So we had +1 air weapons on the way, but no Fleet Beacon. So we've not really been able to establish the answer to the Liberators. Because it's Ghost River, we're in this weird point already where this map is now all bases taken. It's only 6 bases each. It's not a big map in that regard. And so that is where we sit right now. They are still moving through the middle. Across to that other side, Lib's going to get a shot or two off. Nothing too major. Well, EMP also going down as well. And Clem gets on top of this base, and that might just be a base kill. I don't know if we can actually stop that as ShoWTimE right now. Looking at how this is going, I mean, there's just a lot of units. He's going to counterattack with some Zealots into the natural. It looks as though this base might just be dead, so now Clem's going to have a base advantage in the game. ShoWTimE down 30 supply as well. Has money to rebuild with, but will absolutely have to start doing some of that rebuilding. And he's actually very gassed off, so it's going to be mostly Zealots. He gets a couple Tempers on the way too. And that is big because it's going to force Clem into a different answer as well. Clem's also going to need to start building some more Vikings and so on against those Tempests. He can't only build Liberators, so it will force him to have a bit of a different composition. That's why it's so good that ShoWTimE is able to get some of it coming up. Just forces Clem to react, but right now these Tempests needed to be here 2 minutes ago because these Liberators are the sole reason that this push is going as well as it is. So, yeah, that's a continuing problem that we need to start overcoming 2 minutes ago. But yeah, right now I guess it's better late than never. Those Libs have just done so much. They've allowed Clem to now take down the forward base. This base takes a lot of damage, doesn't fall yet though. It does force the fight. Stalkers blink forward. Clem backs it up. Yeah, this base is going to go down, and that's terrifying because if Clem gets this base, he might just be able to retreat away to the bottom left and take that base next. The only issue for Clem right now is he's got such little HP on the units. Medevacs are out of energy, and I think that's the only reason he will not go to the bottom left corner and kill off that base. He's dealing with Zealot Harass at the same time off the Prism as he finishes off this rebuild, and he will have now a chance to retreat and get some HP back on these units. Needs to keep moving though, doesn't want to stop and let ShoWTimE play catch up. But ShoWTimE will capitalize, gets a couple Marauders right off the bat there, and that was just Clem stopping a little bit shy of what he should have been. Liberator's top corner, I'm going to go grab that Prism. Well, we fire it up. I was just going to step forward, Planetary Fortress going into a good position there as well. Just going to have ourselves the Tempest still firing up onto the supply depots. Damage still being done. Vikings Ghost coming about, +1 vehicle plating coming up as well. I'm now in a bit more of a defensive position. I mean, this is again just the Tempests and what they can provide. That's why the Viking count needs to grow a little bit from Clem, otherwise he just gets stuck trying to fight against those Tempests, which obviously you don't want to have happen. You don't want to just be stuck trying to fight Tempests the whole time and having them be a problem, because they really will push you back and force you to, again, be a more defensive position, which is definitely not usually on Clem's bingo card. Clem's usually all about that fighting as he chases forwards a little bit here, getting down this ramp and moving through. So we'll be chased away. ShoWTimE still maxed out, back onto those 6 bases. We are going to start getting to a point where this is going to become a duel of efficiency. Would love to see the resources lost just as an update right now already. Get an idea of what that is looking like. We'll see if it pops up at any point, but not being shown just yet. Plus is going to charge through. Ghost actually cloaked up as a response to this because, well, I guess it's very difficult to keep on top of having observers with all of your potential run-bys, so that's going to be the idea on that one. Let's just have Bio Lib still on a move about, and just got to stay clear of those disruptor shots. I mean, at any moment, one big disruptor shot could be absolutely terrible for you, so again, it's high intensity every time these armies start to move towards each other. I tell you what, though, Clem's got a bit more money in the bank right now. That's a good sign. If this comes down to mining out, it currently suggests that Clem isn't built, playing just a little bit more efficiently, able to get a little bit more done up until this stage. Four Vikings being made at a time, bringing those up. Vikings going to be a big part of the long-term answers we've discussed already. The importance of those pretty darn high in this Terran army. Needs to be able to shut down those Tempests without issue. And yeah, that's really the way that we do that. There's not really another option. Stalker's going to get an EMP, but Clem's actually split the army up, so he's got a strike on the bottom. He's going to get some of the probes, and I like that. Rather than just having to rebuild the Nexus, force the probes to rebuild too. Oh, but he tries to escape to the right-hand side. That might actually be costly. I thought he... Yeah, I guess he couldn't really go anywhere else. For some reason in my head I was like, run south! But, yeah, I guess that doesn't really kind of help you get anywhere, so... Yeah, has to escape to the right, and ShoWTimE does jump on that army and is able to get something out of it, able to get a little bit of value. 25 minutes here on Ghost River. Remember, this all started off with ShoWTimE being in an absolutely incredible initial position. He was in such a good spot, but Clem did Clem things and sort of survived and chipped away at damage throughout the course of the game, and now here we are with ShoWTimE in a, well, very precarious spot. Absolutely no guarantees. Still, if he's going to take this, but I actually think this is now leaning towards Clem's favor. Liberators are going to set up. The Zelds get EMP'd. Going to see the Bio continue to fight. The Arc on the battery is going down as well. He's still trying to push forward. Disruptor shot lands on a Hellbat. A couple of those Tempests continue to drop. Prism here going to unload some Vikings. The Prism now dead. Sorry, not unloading Vikings. Unloading the High Templars into the Vikings. I think that's all the Storms used. I don't think there's many left. If there is, it's only one or two. Clem sits atop this round once again. ShoWTimE cannot keep this location online. I mean, crazy. I mean, what a game from Clem. Turning this around, he was in trouble early. The opening from ShoWTimE was so good, and Clem kept ShoWTimE busy enough that he couldn't capitalize on that opening, and that is one of the main keys here right from the start. But ShoWTimE just never really got to, again, take advantage of, again, just how good a position it was, and it was good. It was very good for ShoWTimE. Cannot overestimate that. Bioforce going to come through and just letting this Protoss army run into you a little bit. Oh, well, that was maybe one of the better disruptor shots lined up, but then Clem still got a denial on it with the split. There's a bit of a better one as Clem is maybe getting a little bit impatient, pushing forwards a bit more aggressively. Perhaps he can just get away with it, though. Anytime units get dragged into those Liberators, the shots do so much damage. Wiserman SC, thank you so much for the 11-month resub on the Prime. Go, let's go, Clem. Well, he's definitely going right now. Again, this has been a crazy game from him. Incredible comeback, turnaround from the early stages. Disruptor shots firing away. Clem is now going to threaten to take this location, which is just going to provide him access to economy that you're not really meant to have. So, you give that to Clem, and if he gets any money off of this space, it feels like it's going to be even more terrible here for ShoWTimE. We're already talking about kind of being somewhat dead in this game. That's just going to be another nail in the coffin, as sniping from a cloaked Ghost will get rid of the High Templar that had some energy on it, so we're able to connect there. Another couple of Liberators sieging up here. ShoWTimE still getting pushed away. Ghost's going to charge forward and do what they can. Disruptor shot not going to do anything of influence. Clem is up 100 supply in this game 1 against ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE will get map pick and attempt to go again in game 2, and maybe can once again leverage a successful start, perhaps, but man, he had such a good start this time. How could he? I mean, I guess you should try and do something similar, get into the same position, and then play better from there. As Clem gets it done. Just ridiculous. As he is so freaking. Alright, game number 2. SCT2, thank you so much for the £8 donation. Let me get my dashboard open to read that properly. Top left-hand side, our blue Protoss is ShoWTimE. In the bottom right, our red Terran from Team Liquid, Clem. Oh, thank you so much for the £8 donation, the Fragile Nurture. Oh, I see. Well, I'm not going to read that out, but thank you for the £8. As we get ourselves a Rax on the left-hand side here from Clem. Get that up and running, see where things are going to go from that point. Interesting start. I mean, I like it. It is a ShoWTimE map pick as well, right? So putting a little bit of pressure on early. Don't give ShoWTimE the comfortable. I wonder if Clem would have gotten back in the game if this was the map last time. It was the same situation. Does the size of this map make it tougher for Clem? Is okay, barracks is found. SCV will finish the barracks, but obviously this being hidden is no longer, so at least ShoWTimE knows what's up and what's going on, so that's a big plus. Next coming through, Cybercore coming up. And it's going to be seeing our probe coming in. And yeah, we get ourselves settled then. So the Reaper will still come through on the proxy. Factory starts from Clem, and we'll see what he can do with this over the next few moments. Does get a probe. ShoWTimE not quite getting that far enough away there. Indep will get a couple of shots, but with the ledge, the Reaper will be safe. So the Reaper gets out of there alive. Now, two Reapers together. I'm going to try and fight, obviously. Don't want to lose an Adept to this, but that shouldn't really ever be the case. And the two Reapers should be the end of that barracks. It is lifted up now. It's starting to pull back home, so it has done its time. It will fall back to go and chill a little bit. Reapers will continue back out onto the map again. And go take that into position. And Gateway's coming up, Cyclone's coming through, the Medevac coming by as well. Seeing a couple of Reapers still poking about, trying to see a little bit more of what's going on. Obviously, Clem now has the factory production done, so the Cyclone will come onto the field, and that's going to be the next point of trying to get something big in the early stages, and could actually maybe try and catch those Stalkers. The Reaper's on the wrong side. Observer, I don't know why we looked away from the Reaper there. A little bit funky. Cyclones don't do too much, though. I thought Cyclone fight might end up being a little bit more fun, but yeah, not really the case, as we are going to be seeing the drop in the main, but there's an Immortal there. And Clem trying to do stuff, but not really succeeding now. Gonna have Stalkers on the other side. Clem is just about going to have a tank in time, though. I don't think the Stalkers can really jump on that tank in any way now, but there's a Viking there to zone the Prism as well, so yeah, that really just showed up at the right time from Clem. Defense is spot on as usual. Once Clem will stop ShoWTimE. And too much in the super early stages. Obviously, the Immortal had to be at home defensively initially, so that's not here to help out with his attack at all. Yeah, and a couple more units continue to come about. Just going to be seeing our Twilight counts coming up. Marines, tank, Viking coming in as well. Continue to take position currently. Let's see how Viking's going to go. Prism taking some shots. Well, Prism, again, low HP, so it can't really stick around and do too much else. Charge on the way, the Observer coming about. Just going to be having ourselves the army of ShoWTimE retreating away, and Clem has been able to hold this off. Now on his way to Stim into the next stage of this game on Goldenaura. Medevac loads, once again, going to go and just try and find some harassment potential with those units, and definitely one of the better ways to still make use of these units at this point in time. They're not always something which can do that much at this stage of a game, so don't mind that so much. Just a couple Cyclones locking onto some of those Adepts. 10 charge Storm, continue to come through. You have that storm still coming up. Then again, the stim combat, the +1, all of that on the way here as well. Still just going to be having ourselves the little bit of movement coming around as well, getting that set up. Yeah, Cyclone's trying to drop here. The Medivac out of energy as it gets feedback. I think this one's going to be not having too much else to get into. Temple Archives, Warp Gates coming about. Still got Concussive Shells and +1 attack on the way in from Clem. Storm gets rid of that Medivac, so that harassment will now come to a close. I'm in position here, and this is going to be where ShoWTimE has to figure out if he has an answer to this. Good Widow Mine placement, going to help protect the siege tanks, actually, so it's going to actually be pretty interesting here, as we do see the Immortals coming down from that left-hand side. The tanks are dying pretty quick. Have they done enough? As the Bio Army has gotten rid of a lot of the Zealots, the Bio has not eaten any splash damage, really, and so doing pretty well. There's still a Widow Mine left, I believe. It's going to go off on some of those Zealots as well. There's a Storm. Clem pulls out of this. I think it was okay for him, though. Tanks are something which he's not going to be as fond of using in this situation for a little while now because it's Storm. So he's going to move more into just Bio Mines. So trading out those tanks for decent engagement, I think, is alright for him. This seems like it's okay for Clem so far. We will continue through and see what else comes of this then as we continue by. Clem's already now starting to drop towards the main base and just going to keep ShoWTimE at home. So more than anything, stopping ShoWTimE from finding some potential counter-aggression himself. Unloads, but ShoWTimE's in position. Like I say, more than anything, it keeps ShoWTimE at home, though, during these moments as Clem gets set back up. I'm moving forward again. ShoWTimE there, though, and with Storms. And Clem has to back away from that. That fight was not it. ShoWTimE with the right idea to just come forward and aggressively meet that. Medivacs are going to load up. Going to start boosting way up the right-hand side. Zealots, Archons, the Prism coming through. This army is going to come in from ShoWTimE, Clem. A little bit down in supply after that previous fight, so might actually be in a little bit of trouble here, as this is going to be his base in some issues. Clem is dropping on the other side as well, so he's going to deal damage himself, but needs to be a serious amount because he's taking a serious amount as well. Some Widow Mines do splash nicely onto those Zealots to begin with. I'd love to see what Clem's achieving across the map. As he evacuates his third, he's going to kill the main Nexus. Clem actually has a fourth command center here as well, which probably should have been lifted, although he's using it as a choke point. The Vikings get rid of the Prism. That's really nice. It stops the High Templars from being able to get in position as easily. Oh, what a storm, though. Clem runs forwards. He eats a massive storm. That's huge, and ShoWTimE knows it. He knows he should capitalize on that, and that's immediately what he goes to do as he moves forwards immediately. Straight into the natural expansion of Clem. Clem still obviously has a lot of units on the other side of the map, so that is one of the issues that he will face, that not all of his supply is over here. Now Clem actually loses that natural CC, and this becomes a lot more difficult. Before I loved it because Clem had kept himself an extra base up in theory. Now Clem's going to be in a tough spot because he's also not mining. The third has re-landed, I guess, so I suppose that maybe is something that ShoWTimE could go back towards. I'm losing a lot of SCVs. Army is still decent. Those medevacs pretty much at the end of their lifespan on the other side of the map. Don't think there's much more for them to do here. As we dove down, we actually got good EMPs, and the Archons are melting. Do we grab that last Archon? Not quite. A storm on a single Marine. Chasing forwards here. Clem wants to just get these units. There's no evacuation method. There is one more storm. There's a lot of high-tech units here you get rid of if you just take this fight. The recall saves one Immortal, and that's it. ShoWTimE losing a lot. At the same time, it's scrappy because Clem loses out on the other side of the map. Chaos ensuing right now in this game. It's getting messy once more, as Clem does have a supply lead. I think my biggest issue for Clem really was just losing that natural CC is so sad. And then it makes it so that losing the 4th CC that he had up is even worse. Before, that wasn't really much of an issue. It's like, okay, actually using it to kind of choke up a bit, whatever. But yeah, losing the extra base, although this is huge. Gets about 10 workers here as he moves across the other side. ShoWTimE's issue will be that he lost a lot of his tech units, right? Immortal's going down, High Templar's going down. It's not easy to replace those. And I think that's where ShoWTimE really will struggle in this game too now, is Clem looking to establish a full lead. Yeah, that's huge from Clem, denying that base. Obviously, ShoWTimE did not rebuild the main, which was one of the original bases killed as well. He sort of just said, I don't think it's worth rebuilding with so few minerals there. So he took the base in the more, in the riskier position. But that's pretty much immediately being punished by Clem just coming through and denying the buildup of that. So, yeah, things do backfire a little bit here for ShoWTimE. I mean, Clem's army here is not huge, though, when you look at the amount of zealots that are there for his opponent. Don't think this is necessarily something that Clem should be immediately kind of loving to fight, but yeah, gets a couple of EMPs off and it looks a bit better. The High Templars looking to come from the prism on that left-hand side. If you can find those big storms, it's been one of the reasons ShoWTimE's done so well for himself. And I can't help but feel maybe it would have just been nice to send out Skillers and hope he takes a map of ShoWTimE in the PvP. Calm nerves a little bit. Would have made life a little bit calmer and more collected maybe for Liquid. I feel like this is a heart racer, because if you drop Clem here, it becomes a much more difficult series for you overall. It's actually, I think, very important that Clem finds a 2-0 against ShoWTimE right now. I'm still moving forwards aggressively. Supply is on his side. EMP is going to threaten, and that Prism already taking damage. The Stalkers blink. The Zealots dive through. There, the High Templars dropping out. He tries to EMP the High Templars. He missed the EMP, but he does get rid of the Prism, so they will not have the mobility any longer. Clem's supply is rising up. However, Zealot counterattack will force him to pay some attention to the other side. Only issue for ShoWTimE is that's a ton of Zealots, and losing those is going to be a big dent into his supply as well. He will get some of them out. Good little split, actually, to make the most of a potential getaway. Clem goes back out the front. 157 supply, currently playing the 115 supply. Worker counts are low, 44 to 41. A low eco game in this situation is obviously kind of rough. This is actually where Clem benefits. He moved an orbital away to the left-hand side base, so he got an extra base up and running. That's actually a really neat positive. Actually getting that base up is not something that was really guaranteed to happen per se, so I actually think that's a big deal for Clem. It's going to be seen that Zell's going to charge forward. SCVs are going to go running. Thank you, SCT2, for the gifted sub to Plasmon and Polariton as these Zells get cleaned up. Again, Clem losing some SCVs, but these are SCVs that seem fairly easily replaceable for him so far. I don't feel like losing those is going to be too problematic. This little group of units, though, does go down. Clem tries to make the most of it, target firing down Stalkers. And High Templar gets 2 feedbacks on Ghosts. I mean, he doesn't kill anything, just removes the energy there. So the Stalker going to go down with Marauder Concussive Shell catching it. Actually was allowed to live. Clem trying to lead with the Vikings. He'd love to shoot that Prism down before the High Templar get a chance to come out. And he saw the danger there. So much so that we actually popped the Super Battery to try and protect the Warp Prism. That's not something you see every day. More shots coming about. ShoWTimE's going to run in, but this is a very choked up position. This is very Zealot heavy from ShoWTimE. This is what you need those storms for, to stop Clem from just sitting there. Clem is going to get it, though. GG from ShoWTimE, and Clem